no-till, low-till. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, don't try to force it to work. But I was reading this Elliot Coleman book. What he said is basically the top 4 inches or so, that's fair game. The whole layer is so active anyway. Once you go past like 6 inches, then you're in the deeper fungal networks and bacteria. But that top couple of inches, that's like where all the nutrients and action mostly are.
Jacques, we're back.
We're back.
And happily, we're not burning our face off.
That's true. What season is it? Looks like fall?
Looks like fall to me if I had to check my seasonal watch. My favorite season, actually.
It is actually also my favorite season. I think it's an extremely underrated gardening season.
Yes.
Now, of course, we're privileged because we can have a full, extensive fall gardening season. But why do you like it so much?
I like it because, and I think this is why seasons exist in our universe. It's so truly the right amount of time for them to last. You know, by the time, trust me, by the time like March, April comes rolling around, you're gonna hear us on the podcast saying, "Oh my gosh, tomatoes! I need my tomatoes bad, mommy." You know, like something like that. I don't know about where the mommy came from,
I don't know.
but
That was all
you know, we throw that in. But anyways, like for me, after I get over the August kind of malaise,
and that's a deep malaise.
It's a deep malaise for me specifically, and then
I think anyone could get a little bit of that.
Everyone's just a little. It's just,
August is rough.
There's so much kind of coming to a head at that time. But then once you get into this temp, it's about 3 p.m. as we record this for you guys right now. Nice, crisp little, like a little tingle coming through.
I could wear a sweater if I wanted to.
Perhaps a chill in the spine.
Yeah,
you know,
a little bit.
And then you do have some of the late lingerers in the garden still kind of getting their final push. Like you're sitting right by arguably, well, not even arguably, definitively the most impressive sweet potato patch we've ever grown in our lives. I mean, you're looking at maybe 50 square feet of sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a carpet.
And we did pull one up, and I have to say I'm pleased.
Okay.
And so that's why I like fall. It's a slower, more peaceful time to garden.
Yes.
And as we know from recent events, like that's kind of the vibe I'm going for right now.
It is more slow and peaceful, and everything about it is just better. Now, the only thing that's worse is that you don't get tomatoes and peppers in the same way.
Right.
But there's less pest pressure.
Way.
Less watering, less heat, so you get less exhausted when you're outside in the garden. It's really just you're kind of just managing at this point. It's like you're managing, but also it's a little bit easier. Things grow slower. You don't have to weed that often. There's not like a plant that you're pruning like a tomato.
Yeah.
So it is really, truly a relaxing, wonderful time. But to that point of seasons, it's also really made me appreciate seasonal eating. Because
so what are you getting right now then?
Yeah, so right now I actually just harvested my first 2 major heads of broccoli.
Oh, really?
That was an early planting
already?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. You're way ahead of me on that.
This year I was like, you know what? I got sick of my tomatoes early, and it's because of the root knot nematode. We won't
don't
talk
say
about
that
it.
out loud. Yeah. Don't say it too many times. They'll spawn.
I know. Yeah. So this year I kind of like, you know what? I'll pull back on my tomatoes a little earlier than usual.
Yeah.
I'll plant some broccoli, see what happens. I was already harvesting. So I've got broccoli on deck, broccolini on deck.
Okay.
And the thing is nobody gets that excited about broccoli usually, except when you know the garden broccoli tastes better and you're waiting all year to have it again. So that's where I'm at. I'm excited to have that harvest.
Plus, like, we've learned some preparations for broccoli over the years that have made it a lot more enjoyable. Like an air-fryered crispy broccoli with some sort of yogurty type sauce on it.
Can't go wrong.
That, especially if you're not putting a lot of fat in that yogurty mix.
Yeah.
You've got, like, honestly, good fiber. You've got good protein content, and you've got something that is a pretty good snacker. It's like a little fall snacker.
That's true.
So I've got broccoli in the ground. I can see it right over there. We've got cauliflower in the ground. Really, the brassicas have risen, right? Yes. They're not as far along as yours, but I will say
not that far out.
They're
pretty big.
Yeah, I mean,
Looking
we're getting
good.
probably some small heads on the cauliflower. I will say that I got a little burnt on some of the stuff we were growing last year because we grew too many cabbages. Like, too many cabbages.
Like, what are you going to do with all those?
You know, and you know the Avatar show, like the Where's My Cabbages, the Cabbage Man? They're in my yard because, well, here's why. Remember we did those experiments?
Yeah.
So you did the soil test experiment, or the fertilizer experiment. So that was a 14 cabbage experiment. And then I did a spacing experiment with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cabbages, I think.
At least.
And we succeeded in all of them, arguably. So like specifically mine, since they were in ground, they got huge. And it's like, how many cabbages can can a guy really eat?
For me, the spring cabbage, it's good, but it's only good if you planted it in the fall and winter, because that cold period that for us is very fleeting.
Yeah,
it's
fleeting,
really just
fleeting.
December and January.
Yeah.
That makes those cabbages so sweet. They crisp up, they caramelize beautifully in the oven.
Yeah, that's true.
They're really good in like
That's
a fresh
true.
salad. And so that's like the kind of thing that I've really come to appreciate, is that obviously anyone can just buy cabbage year round now. It's not anything
It's
special.
cheap too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be able to get it from your garden and have it taste sweet and delicious, you
Different
can't
story.
necessarily buy that from the store.
The thing I'll say to generalize this for those of you who are cursing us every day when we talk about, oh, grow it through the winter so easy. You really can pull off a lot of brassicas through the winter. If you are in a snowy climate, though, you'll need a cold frame of some sort, but that's not that hard to build. That's like a weekend project. Of course, there's ones that you can buy as well. And, you know, our friend Nikki Jabur,
Yeah.
she's the queen
Gardening
of it
Undercover.
up in Nova Scotia. There's her book Gardening Undercover is really good for that. But I would say brassicas, the carrots, some of these that benefit from the cold in the sense of sweetness, like you're mentioning, it is to me worth it. You don't have to have a crazy winter garden. Just have like one cold frame or something, and that's totally fine.
And there's also stuff like kale that can withstand like negative temperatures if you have like the Siberian kind.
Yeah.
It could get
I think
snowed
carrots
on.
do well too.
Yeah, carrots do well. Spinach does well. Even some lettuce can handle actual snow.
Plus, like, what's the harm? You try it. If it
I know.
dies, then it died. Oops,
Whatever.
You know.
Yeah, but
you know.
we also miss out on that beautiful relaxation period of not having any garden to tend with, and having it kill your pests like your
Must be nice,
nematode.
guys. Must be nice.
It must be nice.
Well, you know, because fall to me, a couple things. I'm back on the fall train.
Yeah, hit me.
A couple things I like. Some moments that I like about fall. You ready? Number one,
Pumpkin
Sunday
spice?
afternoon. I do like pumpkin spice,
Okay,
actually.
hey, if you don't like it, you're probably lying to yourself. Okay, back
I
to
think
it.
it's okay to like basic things, but you have to like a couple esoteric things. Like I like rare frogs.
There you go. The
That's
balance.
fine,
It's
you
the
know.
balance.
I'm a bit of an enigma, but no. So, yes, a pumpkin spice, but also a Sunday afternoon at about 3-4 p.m. You really don't have a whole lot left to do life-wise. Like the chores are done, whatever. You want to come putz around in the garden. Maybe a podcast is on. Maybe this podcast, and you might have a little decaf coffee, and you're just kind of doing some stuff in the garden until it gets just dark enough. Well, it's a little cold. I should go inside. And you have a little soup for dinner, like a kale sausage bean soup. Ooh,
So good.
Like, talk to me.
Yeah, hey, you were just talking about broccoli, and it was making me think, I'm like, dude, like cheddar broccoli soup, classic, throwback, delicious.
Damn, I haven't had that in a while.
I know.
Wow.
It's a sleeper. And then like a little baked potato with some like roasted broccoli on top after as like a topper. There's a lot of ways to work it in. But
I haven't had a baked potato in so long. You know why?
Why?
This is my deep thesis on baked potatoes.
Oh God.
Okay, so
Jacket potato.
I don't know what it is about that format of them. I take one bite of a baked potato, I'm full.
You're full?
Literally one
I
bite.
thought it was gonna be a hotter take.
I'm not joking. No, it's a phenomenon. It's more of a
Yeah,
phenomenon. So, because I'll fries, mashed potatoes, I can
There's
eat
no
7
bottom.
potatoes.
There's no bottom.
For some reason, one bite. I should do this to lose weight. I just eat one bite of a potato. I literally, my
potatoes every
stomach
day.
and body goes like, you're full. I don't know what it is.
That's so odd.
Like, you know, those classic sort of like unhealthy baked potatoes that come in like the aluminum foil. Like one bite, I'm done. So
I know the British people call it a jacket potato, which
Why
I don't
do
know if
they
I
call it
respect. I don't know, because it has a jacket on.
it has
the skin.
So, for those of you who don't know, I just spent almost 3 weeks in the UK, and I did come to appreciate quite a bit of the culture. A lot of people trash the food. I honestly found a lot of the food charming and somewhat quaint, I guess you could say. I found the people, of course, lovely.
Yes.
Very different sort of politeness culture there. It's like more polite but less friendly, I guess is the best way I'd put it.
Oh, okay.
Like
Interesting.
you'd be very polite to someone in passing or in
Very
service
formal.
or whatever. It's a little more formal, but it's not like you would go up to the grocer and just kind of like shoot the S around. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like,
I got you.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're just
Yeah.
like, this is a filthy Yank and I don't want to talk to
Yeah,
him.
they
but
could probably sense it.
yeah, well, I don't look like I'm from the UK,
T-shirt,
so I'll say that much.
shorts, and sandals.
I did wear board shorts and sandals in the UK in October.
The only
So
one.
I think I was the
sure.
only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was in Scotland and I was hiking and I dressed, I mean, I had a rain jacket on, but I had board shorts and like running shoes on.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in the bogs and that did not go
bogs.
over well. No, I got trench foot basically. Like it went up to my ankles.
Oh, so you got the full peat experience.
I got peated out.
You
yeah.
got peated.
No, well, the peatlands up there are extreme.
You got to actually feel the peat itself.
I felt it, and I said, "Oh, I understand the peat now." You know, tons of waterfalls and stuff. But what was I going to say is the whole jacket thing. Over there's so many like weird colloquialisms. It's almost like a child named all the food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Piggly Wiggly and
Yes.
Hiddly Doddly and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So jacket potato is a perfect example of that. But man, I think people unfairly trash the food and the culture. I think it was a lovely place, and of course we have UK members of our team now with GrowVeg. And have you been using the planter for your fall garden?
I haven't fully plugged in the fall garden yet, but I have my whole garden layout ready.
Yeah.
And I actually will be putting in the fall garden because especially the fall garden, when things grow slower, there's more time to really observe it, fill in that space.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I don't want to miss my rotations and future plantings. If I know that everything grows slowly anyway, the planter is a great way to use that tool to predict what I need to sow in the next coming months, so I don't end up with empty spots in my garden.
Yeah.
So I haven't mapped my south garden, what I call the south garden, but my bigger garden, the north garden by my greenhouse, that's fully mapped out on the planner, and I have every single bed in, and it's all labeled out.
What's cool about it, and by the way, for those who haven't heard the news, GrowVeg is part of Epic Gardening now. So the GrowVeg YouTube channel, as well as the GrowVeg Garden Planner, is literally part of Epic as a team. So we're one team now, whereas in the past we just had a version of the planner. So now the YouTube channel as well as the planner. But the thing that we did here, because there's structure, right? There's pathways, there's greenhouses, there's trees and stuff. We added every single one of those, and we have the front and backyard in one master plan.
Oh, nice.
And what's cool is, let's say summer came, summer went, and it's time for fall, and you don't want to like replan the whole thing. You could actually duplicate the whole plan. It'll come blank, and then you can re-put it in there, which is pretty fun. So we're like halfway through that process, I would say right now, because I still got look at that. I still got the eggplants over there.
Yeah, actually, in terms of this kind of time of year is interesting because I keep thinking that summer's done, but I keep finding little patches like here, you've got peppers,
they're
sweet
hanging
potatoes,
on,
eggplants, and I'm in the same boat. I still have eggplant and peppers to harvest out of my garden. And I really should have just done it earlier because they're not really producing much anymore.
No.
They're kind of just sitting on the plant. And so
yeah, I mean, I'm looking over. So for those who don't know, when eggplants go overripe, they will turn a odd color.
Yes,
Specifically, the
I
white
see
ones
some.
will turn yellow.
Yeah.
Which is just you might be confused and go like, oh, I could still eat it. It's just a different variety. No, it's the seeds are really mature.
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
probably
fibrous.
bitter.
But the rule that I was talking to Paul and the team about is if you don't have something really obvious and ready to go in, I don't see a reason why it's bad to let it be.
No,
You know, there's
I
a lot of eggplant just hanging there. We're seasoning up some garlic, and it's in the fridge, so I gotta wait a little bit. You know, so I'm just gonna let those be. If they go overripe, not a big deal. I pull a few off here and there.
because there's really, if you think about it, there's literally zero advantage to having that bed empty for like only a month. Like if you're gonna leave ground fallow to like kill stuff, it would be like over a year.
The only caveat I would say, and this is something I learned in the UK from Gerald Stratford, right, is let's say I knew garlic was going in 2 months. Right. Let's just imagine, and I'm like, you know what? My eggplants are kind of coming to the end, or at least I'm over them at this point, right?
Yeah.
What you could do, and it's something I learned from Gerald because he does so much giant vegetable growing, he's a really big fan of leaving beds fallow, but having amended them heavily and allowing them time to rest and break some of that organics down. So what he'll do is he doesn't have a whole ton of in-ground beds. He's got mostly raised. And so what he'll do is let's say harvest something out like the eggplants. He'll come through, he'll just do a quick turn. So he doesn't do a whole lot. He'd take like a small spade and he does like basically a quick little,
flips it a little bit.
quick little flip around, and he'll mix in chicken manure, kelp, and these are pelletized. And he makes his own compost, and it's quite fine and nice.
Yeah.
And then he'll top with that. He'll water that in, and in his case, when he's growing the giants, he might let that sit from November until like March.
Wow.
But he just doesn't have a season where he could grow something effectively.
If that's his goal is to grow those giants, he wants to have that bed ready.
He wants it ready, and he's noticed a lot of growth from leaving it to break down for that long. Which is, I mean, it's like the science makes sense.
Yeah.
They're still bioactive.
Totally.
You know, it's still bioactive and still breaking down. So that could be one caveat to that. But you could also just harvest it out, clear it out, amend it, and replant it.
Yeah,
like more like a farming method.
Exactly. Yeah, and the benefit of leaving the plants until you're ready is that those roots are still like feeding the soil, interacting, keeping that alive. So there's really like no loss in this particular case to leaving those in there.
I don't think so.
And I actually really like this idea too, because especially with like organic fertilizers, they tend to have to break down first before the plant can even use it.
Yeah, they're not at the elemental level already.
Yeah, like the kelp, like it's still kelp.
So
the kelp has to turn
kelp
into
chunks.
those nutrients.
Yeah, kelp chunks. Micro kelp chunks, basically.
Exactly. The other thing I've been thinking about a lot lately is actually tillage. So I don't know if we want to unpack this a little bit.
Get into it.
But here's the thing. We both have like this take, I think, that's kind of softened over the years as we've thought about it and like dealt with it in real life. But I think no-till, low-till, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, don't try to force it to work. I don't think it's going to work in every single context environment. But I was reading this L.A. Coleman book. He's like the granddaddy OG of like organic gardening and farming, especially in the States. And his whole thing was that tilling has actually been like misinterpreted and like what it means.
Okay.
So I think like nowadays when you think of tilling in the garden, when people have talked about no-till or low-till, that means basically like do not turn the soil at all in any capacity.
Even like a large eggplant root.
Some people even that.
It sits. Yeah.
Exactly. And then his thing is when people have talked about tilling being destructive and bad, it's always been in reference to like the crazy deep, like with a tractor, 18-inch plow, ripping down that soil. That is what he says true tilling is. Like, not that specifically, I'm not going to quote
like
him.
the traditional definition.
But like, that is really what he is saying when he says tilling.
Oh, okay.
So in his mind, what he said is basically the top 4 inches or so, that's fair game. Because the whole layer is so active anyway. It's not like a slow soil organism life niche area anyway. Once you go past like 6 inches, then you're in the deeper fungal networks and bacteria. But that top couple of inches, that's like where all the nutrients and action mostly are. So he was like, how can you grow cover crops and incorporate them into your actual soil without doing any amount of tillage?
Yeah.
And so to me lately, I've been kind of thinking, I'm kind of interested because these nematodes have been really annoying and that helps with them. And also it's like, what am I actually preserving, or like what's the end goal here? I feel comfortable with mixing in compost and fertilizer into those top couple inches of soil. And I think that in the long run, it'll probably lead to a better garden for us where things are growing so quickly and rapidly and we have this whole year season.
Yeah.
I feel like it just kind of makes sense.
I think it makes sense. I think in the market farming world, they also talk about tilthing.
Yes.
And the tilthers, which is, I don't know why they didn't just choose a slightly different sounding word, but whatever. Those tools that sometimes are even made with like drills and stuff, they will disturb maybe 2 inches.
Yeah.
I think it's sometimes even 1 inch.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like, let's just be honest. First of all, these aren't purely natural systems, because a human's looking at that garden and saying, hey, I want the sweet potatoes here, I want the peppers here, I want the eggplants here. First of all, those plants wouldn't exist in the same place.
No.
Like, let's just get that out of the way. But secondly, they probably wouldn't exist in the planting configurations naturally. And also, they simply just are grown for a human purpose. And so, is it okay that sometimes the soil is disturbed? Like, look, in nature, a wolf walks through the forest. It's not like it doesn't, in nature, in this backyard, raccoons dig and this and that. Like, yeah, little pockets get disrupted. I think it's okay. I think you're right that I would say, by his definition, we've never truly tilled this garden. We've never come through with a tractor and ripped out like the chunky clay bits, that you'll see when you go 18 inches deep. I would say the deepest this garden ever got was about 8, maybe.
And that was like us trying to get to 8. Like, it wasn't. It's not even easy to go.
It's not even that easy with a home. Yeah. Even something you'd rent from like a Home Depot type place. Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I did tilling in the front yard. This was like, I think before your time when I was doing the show. Way back. Yeah. I rented the smallest tine.
The Mantis, I think, or something.
It was really small.
Yeah.
And at the time, that soil was so hard that I got down 3 inches and I built a little bed and it worked.
Yeah.
But it was not, like, it was a bit pathetic of it. I should have just not done it.
Right.
Or double dug or something really like that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. When I, for example, if I restructure this backyard garden design, I think there's definitely some ways I could make it a little bit more aesthetic or a little more pleasing. If I have to cut into a pathway that we've walked over for a whole year, I probably will do, at the very least, some digging.
Oh yeah, because it's been stomped on.
Absolutely stomped.
Absolutely treaded on. There's nothing growing in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like overturning soil I try to avoid. I don't want to mix my layers necessarily.
Yeah.
But those top couple inches lately, I'm only bringing it up because right now in this fall period, I've been amending, like ripping out plants.
Yeah.
I used to leave roots, now I remove roots. And I've also been like working in some like organic fertilizers, similar to kind of what Gerald is saying, is that I want those things to truly break down in the soil.
Yeah.
And so I've been blending them in and resetting beds that way and adding compost. So it's not like I'm like tilling like in that hardcore sense at all.
Yeah. Part of it too,
to me, is like interesting to think
it's
about.
kind of philosophical. Like if you really believe in it, there's nothing wrong with it. It's
Yeah.
certainly completely fine. But like take a Gerald, right? He's going for really high quality prized giant vegetables in raised beds.
Yes.
So I just don't think, I'm not going to speak for him, but if I had to guess, I would think he's not extremely concerned about the deep soil food web of that one bed.
Yeah.
He's like, let me get a giant marrow out of this thing, you know? Actually, when I pulled up to his house, cute town in the Cotswolds of the UK.
I've heard that before.
I heard it, never really knew. One of the most beautiful drives I've ever been on. All these sheep and the hills and this and that. But anyways, you pull up and there's this store and there's like a giant pumpkin out front of the store and like this cute little display or whatever. And his house is like a stone's throw away. So I'm like, you know what? I bet I would put money that that's Gerald's pumpkin. I go over to his house and he goes, did you see that pumpkin out front? And I was like, is it yours? He's like, that's my pumpkin. Guess how heavy it is? And I'm like,
how big are we talking?
I don't know, like 100 pounds. And he goes, I'll tell you soon. Because it was like a competition. So like, I was like, oh, I guess I don't even get to know, you know?
Yeah.
No, it was bigger than any pumpkin I've grown, for sure. Honestly, that was a good British accent, I feel like.
It was pretty decent.
Like, that was
honestly.
decent.
Yeah.
That was decent.
It was pretty close to his, too.
That was
which is more
decent.
unique.
He has a great accent.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I remember I said something in the start of the video we filmed, and he goes, thank you. And I was like, that's an amazing accent.
So good.
We had some tea, and we had some pie.
Oh.
Yeah.
The afternoon cuppa?
It was an afternoon cuppa with a Bakewell tart, which is like a famous tart over there. I even went to the town of Bakewell.
Is it like a custard thing?
Well, that's the whole debate, dude.
Oh, cool.
No, trust me, it's the whole thing. I went to Bakewell. I go to this town. I stay at the Ruddington Arms or some, everything's in arms over there, all these names. And I go, okay, what to do in Bakewell, right? Because I was driving half the country to get to Gerald's house, so I stopped in Bakewell. What to do in Bakewell? It goes, well, it's famous for the Bakewell tart. So I go, I'm always down for a Bakewell.
Yeah, I mean, come on, say less.
But here's the problem. There's a Bakewell tart and there's a Bakewell pudding. And there's a debate on what's the real one. So I go to the original Bakewell tart shop and I got the Battle of the Bakewells. And you get both. And you have to...
They're like, we might as well lean in on this. It's good marketing.
Oh, yeah. And so they served me a platter with a Bakewell tart, which is more of like it's more of like what you would...
like a mini cheesecake.
It's more of what you'd think of as a true tart. Like a crust with something inside. And then the Bakewell pudding was like a flake. It was almost like one of those Portuguese egg custard tarts.
Oh, yeah.
But longer.
Oh.
And I was like...
those are delicious.
And I poured cream all over it, had a coffee. I was like, I legitimately just had 5,000 calories. You know what I mean? But every bite was a delight. So.
It doesn't count in Europe.
Oh, no, I walked it off. Yeah. No, I didn't. I drove the whole day, but whatever,
Well, actually, while you were up there, did you notice, like, because you got to see some... I don't know if the gardening scene was still very active there.
Yeah.
But you got to see some of the gardens in the UK. Did it feel different than the gardens you see here?
Well, first of all, what they call a garden is so much more broad.
I did learn this actually today.
Really?
Speaking to a British gardener. They were asking me what a yard was. And I was like, you're talking 3 feet?
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, your house.
Yeah.
And they call, like this, they call a garden. And like,
the backyard is basically a garden.
Yeah, I was like, well, there's the backyard with the garden in it.
Yeah.
So even that distinction is a little bit different for them. Everything's like garden-centric.
They call everything, I can't tell you how many places have garden in the name.
Yeah.
So it'd be Rutland Gardens, that gardens. And so a garden, my understanding at least, is a garden can be like in the back of a palace, like a prepared formal garden. It can just be your backyard, which in our world, we'd have a backyard with a garden inside of it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to call it.
A garden is an atomic unit that can be in a front yard, in a backyard, in a house. Whereas they call that whole thing the garden. It's similar to that whole debate we were having about compost, right?
I still can't say it right. It's like compost.
Compost.
It's something weird like that. Yeah.
But either way, like I will say, like I love some of the British phrases in the gardening world, like aubergine, this and that.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
those are superior to eggplant personally.
Yeah.
Eggplant's so American. It's so like directly eggplant. You know what I mean? But I will say, like, the compost thing is confusing.
I think it's very confusing.
I think it's confusing because I just think one word should mean one thing, and
Yeah.
it shouldn't mean anything based on the context. You
I
know?
agree. Yeah, because they call compost what we call compost, like our compost pile.
Yeah.
And they call like potting soil or potting mix compost as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes they call it potting compost.
Or
I'm like, just always call it
Or
that.
they're sometimes called garden compost.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
I'm like,
what
what's
part
what?
is that? Is that the natural stuff we call
Yeah, yeah,
compost,
yeah.
or is that? So it's like bring in some compost. I'm like, from
Which
what
one?
from what definition
Yeah, I know.
do you speak? But no, I mean, I would say the gardening culture there is so much more active. That's the most surprising thing. Nearly everyone in the smaller towns I drove through has something growing.
Oh,
Almost
okay.
no one has nothing growing.
Yeah.
Whether it's ornamental or not.
Yeah.
You know.
But it looks like intent. It's not like just a lawn and like a tree. It's like a little bit more
Well,
than that.
because everything's so old over there. Like
Yeah.
these towns you go through, the smaller towns at least, they all look roughly the same.
Yeah.
Like same stone on the buildings, same sort of structure of the layouts of the towns when they're of a certain size, and so the houses, to have a big lawn it would be like basically not possible. They're not that big.
Oh, I see
and
what you mean,
and
yeah.
like you would never see this like.
You just got zinnia'd.
Oh, I just got hit by a bee. You would never see like a fat American, turf
Right,
grass
right.
lawn there,
That's like parts of the
unless you were at a palace.
Something royal.
So I did go up on Blenheim Palace, and I paid the full ticket entry price. Whole thing was covered in scaffolding. I was like, you didn't let
They're
me
like,
know.
no refund.
You didn't let me know on the way in. Like, come on. But
That's hilarious.
I got completely destroyed. I blew a lot of quid, let's just say. Yeah. But no, like the lawn going into that place, I'm talking it could have been half a mile long. It was so long.
Wow.
So I guess that's where all the lawn goes in the UK. But
It's interesting. Like when I was talking to those British gardeners, they said like sometimes you have to, when you're designing a garden, it's not just designing it for the moment.
Yeah.
But like, what is it going to look like in 100 years?
I know. I'm like,
that's
what? That's like
they're
a fourth of our country's life.
I know. They're like,
relax,
there's
bro.
gardens here that are 400. I was like, dude, you have gardens way older than the existence of this country entirely.
That's
a different level of thinking.
It creates an interesting culture and an interesting gardening culture.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you can just go rock up to some area and be like, let's put a complex here. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Because there's something there and there's something been there. Like the first town I was in York, there was Roman walls at the bottom. And then on top of that was like whatever the next people that came's walls.
Yeah.
And then it was the next people
Stacked
that
on
came's
stack.
walls. So you look at the wall and you're like, that stone is purposely built there from thousands of years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So like 5 times longer than our whole country's existence, Yeah. So the whole style is different, but I think that's what creates the contrast and makes it interesting to think about how they grow.
Yeah. It
Because
seems to have more of like a culture and like it's more prevalent.
it's baked into the actual sinew of the UK.
Yeah.
Versus here, I would say there's pockets where it is and pockets where it's not.
Yeah, it's like
you know?
homesteading, and then like
Yeah.
now I think there has been a lot of backyard gardens.
I would even say on the East Coast, the gardening culture is perhaps a bit stronger than on the West Coast
yeah, I
because
think
it's
so.
historically
Yeah,
closer
that's true.
to that culture. You know what I mean? Even the naming convention, obviously New York,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
enough of England. What are you
Yeah.
excited about for the rest of this year?
So the rest of this, like
Calendar
I guess the
year.
fall, yeah, the calendar
Our fall,
year.
winter.
Yeah. It's weird because I always think of fall starting like a month earlier than it does here, and then
Yeah.
our winter, I think, starts in December. But anyway,
Yeah.
the rest of this year, the things that I'm still excited for are to plant my alliums. I have 0 garlic, 0 onions.
You don't have garlic in?
Not in the ground.
Oh.
No, I have it in the fridge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
have it in the fridge. I'm actually experimenting with refrigerating my soft net garlic 2 this year,
Okay.
but only for like 2 weeks. So I'm probably going to plant it
just to get a little cold
just
on
to
it.
make sure it gets cold.
Yeah.
Because I feel like last year wasn't that cold, and our soft net garlic,
It's okay. Yeah.
not great.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do that. I'm really excited to get some onions again. Those are delicious. I'm learning this year. I'm gonna probably cut the white and red onions down to like 20 each because we just didn't eat them. Yellow onions are supreme.
Because you like to caramelize and stuff?
Yeah, it's like we use them in cooking a lot more, and I don't tend to use whites and
Yellow
reds
Granix
much.
then. Just go
I
with
know,
that.
just go yellow Granix. It's guaranteed.
Yeah,
it does great.
in our climate.
It holds well. Actually, a different experiment I did this year by accident, is that I harvested all my onions, set them outside under my mulberry tree in the shade to cure, and then I just left them there. So
right, you were saying.
Yeah, I was like, usually what I would do is I'd cure them until they're kind of dry and then cut them,
bring them in, all this
store
preparation.
Them in a sack. But this year I just left them outside.
And they're fine?
And they're like last year when I put them in a bag, brought them in, the house is warmer throughout the day.
Yeah.
And half the onions I feel like rotted. This year, I was able to eat through like 90% of those onions. And they're short day, they don't last as long. And they just didn't rot. So I'll probably do that. I'm also very excited to get all those like true brassicas harvested. Like that first cauliflower, the first cabbage.
First cauli I am pretty excited about. First Brussels will be nice, but that won't be for months at this point.
Deep cut.
And then first broccoli would be great. I think I'm excited for golden beets. So we have some starts on some golden beets going right now. We are going to try to crack parsnips this year. And again, learning from Gerald, he does these giant carrots, giant parsnips.
We could try that.
I'm going to do a drum. I'm going to do like a oil drum sort of method for the giant carrots. I've heard this method since I talked to Kevin Forty, Giant Veg, like maybe 8 years ago almost. And I just never tried it. So for those who don't know, to grow a giant carrot, first of all, you need the right variety of seed. Oh, that's another thing I did, by the way. Gerald, I smuggled seed back from Gerald. I immediately put it in the washer and ruined it. I'm talking real giant seed, like you can only get his private stash.
Maybe don't even cut that so he doesn't find out.
No, I told him. I told him. Yeah, I told him.
He's like, well, I'm not sending you anymore.
No, he would. It's just it's easier to smuggle it than to send it.
That's true.
But anyways, what you do is you take some sort of container, usually somewhat large container, like he uses half oil barrels, basically, and he'll fill that up with building sand, and then he'll core out like 6 or 7 cores. And then what he'll do is he'll fill that up with his version of compost, like a very fine, grainy mix. And then he'll sow the carrots in that, and it'll force them to grow straight down.
Right, because they don't want to go into the sand that's like kind of compacted.
It's compacted, and there's nothing there for them, and there's no water in it either. So the roots aren't searching. You're basically forcing. So this is how active his mind is. He's a fascinating guy. I think he's in his 80s now.
Yeah.
But he's like, I've even thought, he hasn't executed this yet, he said it takes him about half the day to like mix Gerald's mix, which is his thing. He'll put in those holes, right? But he's like, what I want is for the root to be forced down as quickly as I can get it down so it can develop and become a very long, thick carrot, you know? So what he's like, I've thought about creating like different versions of my mix that are lighter and lighter in fertility the further up you get. So at the start, there's enough to feed it, and then it just keeps finding more nutrients as it goes down.
Into more and more.
Yeah, and it's like, I keep getting a positive signal, so I'm gonna keep going down. That's a pretty elite level grow.
The giant vegetable growing world is very next level.
Yeah.
It's like way more, you crank everything up to like 11, and then you go a little bit further.
And you know what's crazy is, you've heard of Medwin Williams?
I don't know if I have.
So Medwin Williams, I was really hoping to get to meet him. I wasn't able to, but I mentioned Medwin Williams to Gerald, and he goes, he's my god. Like, Medwin is on a different level to almost anyone in the UK.
Wait, is that the onion guy?
No, that's Peter Glazebrook.
Okay. You got these giant guys on lock.
But Peter Glazebrook is one of the more famous ones because of that giant, beautiful onion photo. But Medwin very likely is the one who helped him figure that out. I don't know for sure, because there's Kevin Forty is pretty legendary in the space too.
They're all in the UK.
Kevin Forty's father actually really was the giant veg forefather of creating that culture in the UK, but there are a lot of them in the UK. Medwin goes to these shows. He's actually very active on Twitter. He went viral on Twitter recently. But no, he grows, it's like a true, I have to say it, it's like basically an art form. Like the onions he produces, it looks surreal. They don't even look real.
He's growing like perfect vegetables.
They're perfect. They're perfect in size and scope. Like he's not always growing the largest ones.
Gotcha.
He's growing like the most perfect onion you've ever seen in your life.
Beautiful.
I'm talking like The skin, there's no flaw in the skin.
Yeah.
It's like polished shine. It comes to this perfect head.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
very, you know, it's like, it's crazy to see. And the Japanese do that too. They do it in a different way, but with the cantaloupes, with the melons,
They
with the
prize
strawberries.
those, for sure.
So I would like to travel to Japan and do a whole series on how these perfect vegetables are grown. But you can learn a lot from that, because if you've maximized the genetic potential of the plant, then of course you can grow the normal carrot.
That's true.
You know, I kind of like that idea.
You're kind of unlocking these secrets that you could apply down to your basic garden.
It's just like deeply understanding how the plant grows. So because to max it, you have to. So if you're gonna do that, then yeah, growing a sweet potato is fine.
I kind of, now that you mention it, want to try growing the biggest garlic possible.
Yeah, well, you need
that would
elephant
look cool.
garlic. Yeah, it's really, I did a bunch of chatting with Gerald and some studies.
Yeah.
Basically, fully 95% of it is the genetics.
Okay.
And then after that, it's the expression of carrot. Now, if you're growing perfect veggies, it's probably still a lot of genetics, but for size, you have to have the right seed.
Yeah.
But for perfect, it's the systems he's created. Yeah, he's got misters and this and that and all this kind of stuff, and he's monitoring all the temperature and humidity and stuff like that, because you can't have any pest damage, you can't have any disease, can't have any malformed growth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know what you might be interested in doing next year is that when I was up in Maine, I just missed it, but we were doing this special project for Home Depot up there.
Yeah.
With Home Depot, and they had this thing called the pumpkin regatta.
Oh, I need to do that. Yeah.
Which
yeah.
they in Maine, they grow out these giant pumpkins, and I think it's right around October in the beginning. They harvest them, they cut them open, and they turn them into boats.
I know.
And they race with their pumpkins.
I saw this
a
on
lake.
some video, and I was like, I need to be in the pumpkin regatta next year. Apparently, the giant growers sponsor it and donate all their pumpkins.
I see. That makes
And
sense.
so, regardless, you've heard it here first. Epic will be sponsoring a pumpkin regatta. I think if you sponsor it, you get to choose a regatta participant.
Okay.
So, and I'll be honest with you, I may be too thick to be in a giant this is broke my heart. This is a little don't tell
Might be
anyone,
too
guys.
tall, I'll say.
I went to Hawaii a long time ago,
Okay.
right, with my girlfriend at
Yeah.
the time, and I couldn't get on I couldn't book the the beach horse ride, because it said 250 limit. And,
Oh, wow.
and so I was over that. I'm just gonna say that. And I was, but what did we do instead? We saw giant manta rays, and they went right by our face. It was cooler.
You could ride a horse here.
Yeah, but not on the beach in Hawaii with the aloha, But either way, some interesting things coming next year, guys. Sun's getting low. That fall crisp air is hitting.
Starting to get a
We're going to
little chilly.
sign off for now. Let us know what you're excited about for your fall or just next season in general. We will see you on the next episode. Good luck in the garden and keep on growing.